Well, let's get to those gas prices. Good news for people hitting the road this Labor Day. Gas prices will be the lowest since 2016, and we could see further decreases this fall, with the gas expected to drop below $2 per gallon in thousands of gas stations across the South. Joining us now from Chicago is Patrick Dehaan, Gas Buddy, head of Petroleum Analysis. Thanks for joining us, Patrick. So is this effectively a product of oil having moved lower, and how sustained are these gas price drops going to be?
Well, certainly, Julie, part of it is the price of oil, which, of course, has been tied to U.S.-China trade tensions for the last few months. But we do get a seasonal boost in the fall. We switch back to cheaper winter gasoline. That's something that starts September 15th, so we'll be looking forward to that drop. And we also see gasoline demand typically ease off after the conclusion of the summer driving season, which is just a week or so away, I should say. So come fall, we have some natural downside that we see. And I think even if there is some sort of broad trade deal with China, that motorists, at least in a dozen, perhaps even more states, will get access to sub $2 a gallon prices.
Hey, Jared Blickery here. I want to talk about biofuels. The EPA recently granted waivers to, I believe, 31 smallish firms so that they wouldn't have to undergo the blending with ethanol, for instance, or soybean oil. But my question is, and it looks like President Trump is trying to walk back some of this, maybe rescind some of the waivers. It looks like there's kind of two of his constituents in the energy field and also the farm, those constituents. Do you see this playing out and having any effect on prices?
Well, RIN values have tumbled as a result of the SREs, the single refinery exemptions, to the RFS. So you're seeing blends like E15 or unleaded 88, as it's being dubbed now, that have closed the gap to regular gasoline. So there's a little bit less incentive for consumers to fill up with that, given that RINs are lower and gas stations are pricing those higher blends a little bit less attractively. But in the future, I don't expect that to play a major role with where gas prices will head in the months ahead. Again, consumers perhaps at 10,000 stations, maybe even more by Thanksgiving, should have access to sub $2 a gallon prices, mostly in the South, which is the area behind me. You can see there's a lot less pain at the pump already.
So Patrick, this is Todd Buchholz. Based on what you're saying, it sounds like destinations like Six Flags, places that people drive to, should be beneficiaries of this. I'm curious whether your analysis also applies to jet fuel and to oil that cruise companies use. So, and whether this really is a signal that vacation, luxury, hospitality stocks should be key beneficiaries of this decline.
Well, they may be key beneficiaries for now, at least. I think if there is a trade deal, oil prices will probably go back up. But again, a lot of what we're expecting is seasonal. That is, motorists are very reactive to gas prices. And sure, driving destinations, Six Flags, amusement parks probably will be doing a little bit better. Airlines, however, probably aren't going to get a huge break. They're a little bit less price sensitive when it comes to fares. Being able to push fares up is tricky. So they're already severely challenged on prices that are higher than in years past. But I would look for also a win with restaurants. You talk about hospitality. As gas prices fade into the autumn, that's good news for fast casual restaurants, the Chipotles of the world, the McDonald's, when motorists have a little bit more cash in their wallet.
Well, I want to ask you about how much gas people will be buying as a result of this as well. In other words, when prices go up, we sometimes talk about demand destruction. Will people be driving less? Do we actually see people drive more when prices go down?
You know, to a small degree. During the summer months, I think lower prices would be more of a lure to drivers that are considering either those faraway destinations, those amusement parks, or staying in their backyard. So there's more price sensitivity in the summer when people have the means, the time off, the weather is good. Whereas in the fall months, you don't see so much of that discretionary out of the blue weekend travel. So low gas prices may not spark a huge boom in demand this autumn. Keep in mind, a lot of consumers out there that are filling their tank are still uncertain over this whole U.S.-China trade battle. And I think their barometer or the way they spend certainly tracks that issue. So if that issue is solved, I would look for not only a little bit higher gas prices than we may otherwise see, but sure, I think that would strengthen the consumer confidence as well.
All right, Patrick, thank you. Patrick Dehaan of Gas Buddy.